Alrighty, now on to Roguery. These are the best perk picks. Alright, you can end the video right here if you want. There they are right in front of you. But now I'm going to go over why I made the choices, why some choices are 50-50, and all that in between. Okay, like always, playlist down below for all of these. We're just about done. After this, we have 6 more to go. And obviously, when the DLC comes out, we got 3 more to go after that because 3 more skills are being added. Alright, so without further ado, let's get right to it. Roguery, how do you get it? From doing kind of like bad things, technically. Raiding caravans, recruiting and leading bandit troops, infiltrating enemy towns, giving bribes, escaping from captivity. Right? Illegal things, I was supposed to say. Not technically bad or good, but like illegal in that time, right? And the higher this is, the more your battle loot increases. So after each battle, the amount of loot you get, it will get times or plus. You know what I mean? If you got 100% of the loot plus 75%, you're gonna get 175% of the loot. With 300 as I have it. And like always, the reason all this is 300 is because I had to use and tinker with some numbers. For the case of these reviews in your game, you can't reach 300 on all of these. You can only reach 300 on a couple if you try really hard. Okay, let's do it. First, you have is No Rest for the Wicked versus Sweet Talker. No Rest for the Wicked, 20% experience gain for bandits in your party and plus 5% raid speed versus 20% chance for convincing bandits to leave in peace with barter. And then there's a governor perk. Again, making a new video later on about governor perks. Your main character cannot become a governor, only your family members and your companions. Okay, so for this video, it doesn't really matter about the governor perks. So it's 2 perks versus 1, and I'll be honest with you, it's not even a choice. No Rest for the Wicked is the better choice. The 5% raid speed is going to help for like the rest of the game, and it's good to get early. That's whenever you raid villages, you get a lot of resources. This makes you go quicker. It's pretty good, especially for level 25. And then the 20% experience gain for bandits in your party. You're going to have bandits when you start the game in your party. I suggest recruiting them. Sometimes the bandits can be better than a lot of the early game troops that you have. Versus just 20% chance of convincing bandits to leave in peace, like a maybe about like a very specific situation. Doesn't make sense. No Rest for the Wicked. Next, Deep Pockets versus Two-Face. Deep Pockets, double the amount of betting allowed in tournaments and minus 20% bandit troop wages. Versus Two-Face, which is plus 50% increased chance for sneaking into towns, and then no morale loss from converting bandit prisoners. I get this one just because of the secondary for Two-Face. The no morale loss for converting bandit prisoners. Whenever you convert bandit prisoners from prisoners to actual troops in your party, you get a morale loss based on their clan tier. The higher the clan tier, the more loss you get. But usually, most of the time, you're going to get -1 per troop, right? So, yeah, I think Two-Face is good just off that, The 50% increased chance for sneaking into towns is meh. You don't really do it often. And also, the double the amount of betting allowed in tournaments. It's cool, but you're only going to be doing tournaments for like the beginning part of the game, I would say, to like and kind of stopping towards the middle. When you start becoming a vassal and start having to like do major sieges, battles, and decisions, you'll participate in a tournament for fun maybe when stuff slows down, but other than that, you're not really doing that. And then the minus 20% bandit troop wages is pretty good, but I still think the morale loss, again, through playing for a long time, this is actually very good for the late game as well, because later on you're going to have a lot of prisoners, you're going to have a lot of troops, and you're going to cycle through those prisoners and troops, as in you're going to go into battles, lose the troops, and then the prisoners will join along with you, and that morale loss does add up, especially late game, if you're converting 10, let's say you're converting 10 prisoners every couple of battles. That's like -10 morale every couple of in-game days. You're gonna drive it down. Like your morale is gonna be driven down immensely, which will affect a lot of things. It will affect how strong your attacks are. Also on top of like that, it will affect if what do you call it? Troops on the battlefield decide to retreat. So you want to keep that up. So Two-Face is my choice. Next, in Best Lights versus Know-How. In Best Light, +1 extra troop from village notables when successfully forced for volunteers. I think it's pretty useless, I'll be honest with you. I don't think you should ever force anything whenever you're attacking villages. I think you should just attack them if they get in your way in terms of raiding. If they let you just raid without attacking them, don't attack them. But just do the actual raiding with the ticks, where like ticks every single time and you get some of their stuff. Okay, never force them. It's not worth it in terms of doing that or raiding. Okay, and then plus 20% faster recovery from raids for your villages. Versus just a one perk thing right here, plus 5% more loots from defeated villagers and caravans. So the reason I chose this, obviously, it's 2 perks, but the first perk I never am going to use. But the 20% faster recovery from raids for your villages is pretty strong, again, later in the game. When you get some castles or towns right on the outskirts of a war, your villages are going to get raided. Them recovering 20% faster is pretty good, okay? Versus only 5% more loots from defeated villagers and caravans, so you have to fight villagers and caravans, which again will make you lose a lot of relationship with a lot of different clans in the process, so not really worth it. So in Best Light is the choice. Next is Manhunter versus Promises. Manhunter, 20% better deals oh my goodness, 20% better deals with ransom brokers for regular troops and plus 10 prisoner limit versus minus 50% food consumption for bandit units in your party and plus 30% recruitment rate for bandit prisoners in your party. Promises is the easiest choice ever. Why? The 10 prisoner limit, don't care. As long as you pick all the stuff that increases your party limits, and I think it's, what is it, steward that you need to keep up. Yeah, if you keep your steward, like if you keep leveling your steward, your party size is going to be huge, and pretty much for every 2 troops, it's an extra prisoner limit. Okay, so the 10 isn't really doing much. The 20% better deals is cool, but minus 50% food consumption for bandit units in your party, pretty good. They eat 50% less food. Kind of unethical, but you know, we're not talking about ethics here. This is a video game. And then plus 30% recruitment rate for bandit prisoners in your party. Again, that's cycling through that you're going to do later in the game, where you're even kind of like early in the game, where you know you're going to go into a lot of battles, you're going to have a lot of prisoners, and you know a lot of those prisoners might be bandits. So again, 30% more chance for them to be ready to be recruited, and also minus 50% food consumption when they're recruited. Again, very useful. It's the better choice. Promises. Next, Scarface versus White Lies. Scarface, 30% chance for bandits, villagers, and caravans to surrender versus 20% crime rating decrease rates. I'll be honest with you. Again, it depends how you play your game. I guess this is kind of a 50-50 in a way. But I like Scarface because I don't really like fighting villagers and caravans. And if bandits surrender, then if I'm not mistaken, you can take them and fight with you, right? Depending if they want to join you as well. So this is the better choice because this is what I would prefer. But if you do a lot of stuff that increases your crime rating and you want to decrease it faster, then White Lies is the choice. But if you don't just attack villagers and caravans randomly, pick Scarface. Next, Partners in Crime versus Smuggler Connections. Partners in Crime, surrendering bandit parties always offer to join you. See, this is what I was talking about. And then plus 2% damage by bandit troops in your formation versus plus 10 armor points to equip civilian body armors and minus 50% trade penalty when you have crime rating. Again, depends which way we're going. If we're going, you want to have a high crime rating, but then you shouldn't even get white lies. Then it kind of doesn't really mesh well. But in my opinion, why I chose Partners in Crimes is because the whole surrendering bandit parties always offer to join you. It mixes well with this. It increases the rate for them to surrender. And then once you have this, once they surrender, it's 100% chance that they will join you. Okay? So this is 30% chance increase to get them to surrender. And this pretty much means once they surrender, there's no like, 50, flip of the coin, 50-50. Do they ask to join, or do they just ask to become your prisoners? So this one will make it so they always join you. And again, no morale loss from it either, because you have two-faced. So all these kind of mesh together very well if you're trying to cycle through a lot of bandit, what's called bandit troops, through your party. And then the 2% damage is cool on top. But Partners of Crime is the choice. Next is One of the Family versus Salt in the Earth. One of the Family is 10%. Wait, not 10%. Plus 10 bonus vigor and control skills to your bandit units in your party. Pretty much means like, all the fighting ones. From one-handed to throwing. And then versus plus 20% more loot from villagers compliant to your hostile actions, which again is like the force villagers to give you recruits or force villagers to give you loot, which is two options you should never pick. Always pick raid. You know what I mean? I might have to make another video about it, but always pick raid. It is the better choice in terms of getting more loot and doing less stuff that's going to increase your crime rate for no reason, really. But the 10 bonus of vigor and control skills I think is better overall. It makes your troops stronger than the enemy troops. So One of the Family. Even though both of them are kind of lackluster in terms of what you get. Next is Carver versus Ransom Broker. Carver plus 10% damage with civilian weapons. That's when you're in pretty much in all the weapons that you can use inside of a town, like while you're walking to kind of like attack people in alleys. Those are the ones they're talking about, or the ones during your prison break. Those are the civilian weapons. And then plus 2% one-handed damage by troops under your formation versus plus 25% better deals for heroes from ransom brokers and minus 30% escape chance for hero prisoners. Again, easy choice, ransom broker. Better deals from heroes whenever you go to the tavern to pretty much sell them back whenever you do capture them as prisoners. Great. Heroes go for a lot more. They sometimes go for they can start from a couple hundred all the way to literally, over 10,000 for one. Depending on where they are in the hierarchy, you know what I mean? How many fiefs and stuff do they know? Are they a rich clan? Are they a poor clan? All depends on that, right? And then just to partner up with that, minus 30% escape chance makes it so they're not going to escape, so you can kind of make it to the town, or they're not going to escape as fast. You know what I mean? So pretty good. I think it's a lot better than only 10% damage and 2% damage. You know what I mean, to your troops. It just, you're going to get a lot more value out of Ransom Broker. Next is Arms Dealer versus Dirty Fighting. Arms Dealer minus 20% sell price penalty for weapons. Pretty much means whenever you sell, you are going to sell for more. And then versus Dirty Fighting, which is plus 50% stun duration for kicking. For a level 225 decision, this is absolutely baffling. But Arms Dealer is the better choice. You know what I mean? Sell your weapons for more instead of just literally just a stun duration for kicking. You could have made this number 25. You know what I mean? Just saying. But Arms Dealer is the right choice. Next is Dash and Slash versus Fleet Footed. This is the last choice. Dash and Slash is plus 50% damage bonus from speed while on foot, which pretty much means as you're running, if you, for example, swing your weapon and it hits, you're going to do bonus damage, and this is going to do 50% more of that bonus damage. And then a plus 2% two-handed weapon damage by troops in your formation. Okay. Two-handed troops are usually the minority when it comes to infantry in terms of one-handed with a shield, and then two-handed usually have more one-handed guys. So again, 2% to troops that you don't have as much of. I don't know. Versus plus 10% combat movement speed while no weapons or shields are equipped, and also plus 30% escape chance when imprisoned by mobile parties. I literally picked fleet-footed for the second plus 30% escape chance. Literally. You will get caught. Sometimes you'll get into some battles you did not think you thought you were going to win, but you really didn't. It's going to happen. Escaping quicker is the better choice here, but honest to God, they kind of gave up, I feel on the ending of these skills in the Roguery tree. They really got to look over these. But yeah, fleet-footed is the choice. It's not even a mix-up. And lastly, you got Rogue Extraordinaire. That is plus 1% loot amount for every skill above 200. Get it. All right. But that'll do it for me, and I'll see you in the next one.